Hello everyone, you all wrote pre-final examination. In that question paper, if we observe, already I told you in my previous video, that is analysis on pre-final examination for SSC examination. In that, from 6 chapters they gave only for 12 marks, and in the remaining 6 chapters they gave more than 60 plus marks. And already I told you in that video that you should not focus only on 6 chapters. You have to focus in PS on all the chapters. Here, according to the government rules, in Enadu Pratibha, they released some important instructions to the students. We will discuss one by one. So all students should learn the concepts. So already in my previous 2 videos I said, from conceptual understanding questions you get 40% marks. 40% in the sense, out of 50 you will get 20 marks, and the students has to practice the diagrams well. After learning the concepts, you have to practice the diagrams so that you get very good score. And you all know that this time we have new pattern, in that our general science is containing 2 sections, A and B. In section A, physical science, syllabus analysis they given. In that, from heat lesson you are going to get 8 marks. Heat is one of the important concept in heat chapter. It is one of the important chapter in physics. We may get 8 marks, 2 marks and 1 mark questions from this chapter. Specifically, they mentioned specific heat concept. Specific heat in the sense, specific heat definition, specific heat formula, specific heat SI units and CGS units you have to learn, and specific heat of water. And procedure of finding specific heat of lead shards. It is very important question. And conversion of temperature from centigrade to Kelvin and Kelvin to centigrade, etc. are very important in this heat chapter. Apart from this, differences between evaporation and boiling. Why do dogs pant during hot summer days? Why do we feel chill outside the shower stall during the bath? These kind of questions are very important. You have to focus on these questions. And if we consider in physics one more chapter, that is refraction of light on plane surfaces. Refraction of light at or on plane surfaces. From this chapter, there is a chance of 8 marks. We may get 8 and 4 marks questions from this chapter. In this, verification of Snell's law. Verification of Snell's law is nothing but, you all know that sin I by sin r is equal to constant. One question is there, how can you prove that sin I by sin r is equal to constant? That is the very important question. And one more concept you should focus is in this chapter is refractive index. A refractive index in the sense, you have to learn the definition of refractive index formula, and based on this formula, maybe examples. To answer this example, you should know the formula n is equal to c by v. In that c value you should know, that is speed of light in air or vacuum, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per seconds. And mirages, next concept you have to focus on mirages. Total internal reflection have to be focused. Mirages in the sense, in this one also I explained the formation of mirage. The main principle involved in mirage is total internal reflection. Total internal reflection also they mentioned here. That means you have to focus optical fibers, brilliance of diamond, mirages. In all these processes, this total internal reflection principle is involved. So you have to focus more on total internal reflection concept. And if we go for next chapter, that is refraction of light at curved surfaces. So in this chapter, ray diagrams are very important. But after completing the pre-final examinations, they mentioned from this chapter there is chance of getting for 7 marks, 4 marks question, 2 marks question and 1 mark questions may come from this lesson. Types of lenses. We have 5 types of lenses. From 2 years onwards, they are asking to draw the 5 types of lenses: biconvex, biconcave, concavo-convex, concavo-plano-concave, plano-convex. In that way, 5 lenses they are asking. Types of lenses. Lens formula, it is very important. Not only lens formula, 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u, and lens maker's formula 1 by f is equal to n minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 1 by r2. It is also important. Not only formulas, in that formulas you should learn the terms also, and examples related to these formulas, both Lenz formula and Lenz makers formula, and ray diagrams are key concepts for this exams from this chapter, refraction of light at curved surfaces. Very very important. And one more lesson is there, that is fifth lesson, human eye and colorful world. So from this chapter 8 marks chance is there, but in pre-final examination they gave for only 1 mark or 2 marks. Here 8 marks chance is there. This is the most important chapter. 8, 4 and 1 mark questions may become from this chapter. High defects. So main concept is here high defects. We have 3 types of eye defects. Those are myopia, hypermetropia and presbyopia. So after completing the lesson, first 2 questions are AS1 questions, that is what is myopia, how can you correct the myopia, what is hypermetropia, how can you correct hypermetropia. These 2 questions are very very important. Along with this, you have to learn that for myopia and hypermetropia and for presbyopia what kind of lenses are used. And one more thing is power of lens definition, and it has 2 formulas. P is equal to 1 by f, P is equal to 100 by f, based on the focal length. When focal length is given in meters and centimeters, we are using these 2 formulas, and the corresponding examples also you have to focus based on power of lens and its unit also. It is denoted with the diopter D. And rainbow formation question also very very important in human eye and colorful world lesson. So the students who are feeling difficulty, if we focus only on these concepts enough, they can score very good marks. Next, one more concept from physics is electric current. So from electric current 7 marks chance is there. This chapter is a key chapter in physics. 8, 4, 2 and 1 mark questions may come. Electric current. So here the student should be able to learn electric current, potential difference, verification or main focusing concepts. So here electric current definition, formula, units, at the same time potential difference and electromotive force are there. So the differences between potential difference and electromotive force, students should focus. Definitions and formulas and units are very very important, and power concept also, Ohm's law, verification, series connection of resistors, parallel connection of resistors. Already I kept 2 videos on series connection of resistors for finding equivalent resistance, and when resistors are connected in parallel, how to find the equivalent resistance. So go through that 2 concepts once again. And we have chemistry topics, electromagnetism. From electromagnetism we may get 6 marks, but in pre-final examination they gave for very less marks. So from this chapter 4 marks, 2 marks and 1 mark questions may come from this chapter. Magnetic flux. So in this we have some definitions, that is what is magnetic flux density, their formulas and units are very very important, and Oersted experiment, because Oersted experiment is the basic for electromagnetism concept. Lenz law, Faraday's law. And in pre-final examination you didn't got any question on electric motor, AC generator and DC generator. So the diagrams and the working of electric motor, AC generator and DC generator you should learn. And applications of Faraday's law are also very important concepts in electromagnetism. Students are facing difficulty in this chapter electromagnetism, so no need to worry. Very simple questions, less questions. Electromagnetic flux, magnetic flux density, these 2 definitions, formulas, units. Lenz law, Faraday's law definitions, and electric motor diagram, AC generator diagram, DC generator diagram and their explanations, how they work. And one more important question in this chapter is applications of Faraday's law are very very important. Next chemistry topic, acids, bases and salts. 8 marks chance is there from this chapter. This is one of the important concepts in chemistry. 8 marks, 4 marks, 2 marks and 1 mark questions may come. Lab activity. So in this we have 3 lab activities. What happens when metal, suppose zinc, reacts with HCl? One lab activity is there, even though it is not there in TQ questions. Students has to practice well this question. And in TQ questions we have two questions, that is what is water of crystallization and explain with the help of an example with activity. That questions should learn. And one more question is there, glucose, alcohol, HCl and H2SO4. In that four solutions, in which solution the bulb will glow, that question is there, very very important. And acid base indicators, that is red litmus, blue litmus, phenolphthalein, methyl orange, these kind of indicators, what is the change in their color, students has to focus. And pH values are important topics in this acids, bases and salts. Not only that, the salts, their common names and chemical names and chemical formulas also students has to practice more from this chapter, acids, bases and salts. Next concept from chemistry is structure of atom. From this chapter there is a chance of getting 8 marks, but in pre-final examination they give from this chapter also questions. Here 8 marks, 2 marks and 1 mark questions may come from this lesson. Shapes of orbitals. So already in pre-final examination they gave p and d orbitals shapes they asked. And quantum numbers, we have 4 quantum numbers, that is principal quantum number, spin quantum number, magnetic quantum number, angular momentum quantum number. Very very important questions, you should focus on these quantum numbers. And the principles to describe the electronic configuration are important. Apart from this, in this chapter, that is especially in structure of atom, in pre-final examination we didn't saw Pauli exclusion principle, Wundt's rule and Abbo principle. So students are requested to focus on these three definitions with examples. Already I explained about these three definitions and examples in my previous videos, so please go through once. And the periodic table, classification of elements and the periodic table, this is the chapter from this. In pre-final examination they gave for 16 marks, so I am thinking that maybe less questions will be asked in public examination from this chapter. Total for 6 out of 50, 16 marks they give questions from this chapter. So chance is there for 8 marks or 2 marks questions are mainly come from this chapter, triads. So already I uploaded one video about Dauber-Need's law of triads and how to remember the elements present in the triads, so students are requested to focus on these triads. Not only that, modern periodic table concepts are also important, and you have to focus Newland's law of octaves, Mendeleev's periodic law, modern periodic law and Dauber-Need's law of triads definitions. In these four definitions, Dauber-Need's law of triads and the triads, the elements names is very very important. Already I explained in my previous video, so please go through once. And the next concept in chemistry is chemical bonding. From this chapter also there is a chance of getting approximately 7 marks, 4 marks, 2 marks and 1 mark question may come from this chapter. And already in pre-final examination they asked explain the formation of NaCl and CaO. Here also they mentioned explain the ion. That means in chemical bonding we are discussing about two kinds of bonds, ionic bonds and covalent bonds. So students should focus on ionic bonds. And formation of N2O2, this is very very important. Formation of N2 molecule and formation of O2 molecule, very very important. And one more question is hybridization concept. What is hybridization and explain the formation of BeCl2 and BF3. So these questions are very very important. Definitely from these two, that is the formation of N2 and O2 or what is hybridization and formation of BeCl2 or BF3. Definitely one question will come in public examination. Next, one more concept in chemistry is metallurgy. From metallurgy 8 marks chance is there, but in pre-final examination they gave only for 1 mark 1 question. But here 8 marks chance is there, 8 marks or 1 mark questions may come from this for the exams. Questions may ask on formulas of ores. For example, hematite, bauxite, these ores formula students has to learn. In TQ questions those are there. Iron ores. Corrosion question is nothing but here how can you prove that or how can you show that water and oxygen are essential for the corrosion activity is their lab activity. So students are requested to focus on that question. And three more important concepts, that is flotation. from this metallurgy chapter: growth rotation, magnetic separation, reverberatory furnace diagrams, also very important. 90% chance is there to get in public examination. And the last concept in chemistry is carbon and its compounds. 6 marks may come, but in pre-final examination they gave only for 1 mark, so don't consider that it is not important. In intermediate also you are going to face this concepts: chemical bonding, carbon and its compounds. So students are requested to focus on catenation, definition, hydrocarbons, and cleansing action of soap are important concept. So cleansing action of soap is very important. In this cleansing action of soap, students should practice the soap molecule, and it is containing two ends, hydrophilic end and hydrophobic end. It's very easy, so students should focus on these concepts. And students should remember while writing the exam, already I explained in my previous video that after receiving the question paper, 15 minutes you should read question paper. Write correct question number while answering. So while answering in your answer script, you have to mention the correct question numbers. Try to write your answers section wise. For example, you know answers of all questions in section 2, so you should start with section 2 and you should complete all the questions maximum present in the section number 2. Likewise, you have to write the answers according to section wise. Next, practice diagrams thoroughly while answering. Draw diagrams with parts necessary, if parts necessary. First, start writing answers for well-known questions, then try for unknown questions on your own. So already I explained in the previous video also. Next, draw the diagrams with pencil only. So you should not use any color pens and normal pens. With pencil only you should draw the diagram, and parts also you should represent with the pencil on right hand side by drawing lines with arrows. This is a very important point. You focus in the lab activity questions, concentrate on chemistry, because chemistry have less number of questions. For example, if we consider means in acids, bases, salts, 3 lab activities are there. And in principles of metallurgy, 1 question is there. In principles of metallurgy, how can you show that oxygen and air are necessary for corrosion? That is 1 lab activity. In second lesson, what happens when metal reacts with the acid? That is 1 lab activity. Water of crystallization is 1 lab activity. And acids conduct electricity in water is 1 lab activity. That is by taking glucose, alcohol, HCl and H2SO4. So only 4 lab activities are there in chemistry, hardly. But if we consider physics, 7 to 8 lab activity questions are there. So if students focus on lab activity questions only from chemistry, at this time those who are getting fear, in choice they can leave physics question and they can answer the lab activity from chemistry. And at the end, verify all the questions and answers. So these are the instructions and syllabus analysis according to government that you are going to get in physical science paper, that is part A. Thank you.